Slurpty-derp, my G's. I hope you guys are doing well. I've got a really cool, funky, dark neuro bass again today for you guys from Phase Plant, but it's a little bit better, actually quite a lot better than yesterday's one, and it's actually easier to make as well. Shout out to Ryan Anderson and also to Zombie Dezu for commenting on yesterday's video. Really appreciate that, guys. Hope you guys are doing great. And here is the bass then. I'll just play it with a drum beat, same drum beat from my sample pack that I used in yesterday's video, but it still sounds great with this bass as well. So here's a little demo. Now obviously bear in mind, you know, it's just a pretty dry drum loop without any like reverb or, you know, processing or extra bits, and it's also the bass is no processing, so yeah, it does, everything sounds like under processed still. However, the bass sounds sick in my opinion, and it was really easy to make, and it just takes the concept of shaping sine waves with particular distortion that makes it so great, and it's something that you can easily replicate and do something similar yourself, I believe. And so if we just take a look at the actual patch, so we're going to start off, I'm playing like a G I think and then a G sharp, but it doesn't really matter so much as long as the octave is in the right range. We're going to start with a -24 sine wave, basic analog shapes kind of thing, and it's just slightly off key, like 0.03, not much, just like to make things a little bit unusual. Then the next sound is going to be also another sine wave, okay, but this one is going to be turned off, and we're going to modulate the level on this one. So it's going to go from 0 up to 88%, and I'm going to drop this this individual preset, which is called Black Fire, on my Patreon for free as soon as I've made this video. So all you have to do is go over to my Patreon and you can become a member for free. Obviously there are like tiers where you can get benefits, but I drop loads of free stuff on there, and I announce competitions and events through there. So if you're not on there, go and join it now anyway. I'll leave a link above. Like literally you can just join it for free, and then you'll get this preset and you'll get like updates for other cool stuff as well. So we basically put the level at 0 and then modulate it on an LFO, and I've chosen a cosine shape for this one, and I've just kind of moved it around a little, just made it a bit lower down off the grid, and it's at 16/16, which is like basically just 1 bar, isn't it? So okay, so that's just modulating the level of the LFO, and it's also modulating a little bit the pitch. So it's a strange pitch because I've gone for -14.02, and then I've got it modulating up like 3% or so, or 3.07 semitones, and I've done it not really thinking about the key. I've just done it by ear on how it sounds when they're together. One more thing that I've also done is I've put the output of our main one here into this crazier one, into the phase position to do some frequency modulation, and that's at +77. So that makes it a little bit more interesting by blending the two together, okay? But we got a couple of things we need to do here, which is really important. We need to turn on the secondary LFO, which is going to create this extra movement, okay? And again, like I did on the last bass, we set the output of this LFO to modulate the phase of the first one, swing it around all the way 360 degrees, baby. And the square mode is what I selected for the shape of this one. But what I did was I changed the square a little bit, so it's a little bit more like kind of smooth in a way, like a smoother square. I don't know, a trapezoid, something like that. But that's how I got that funky rhythm going again. But now really the key of this video is the sine wave distortion shaping. So just by throwing on the shaper here, okay, it becomes a lot more interesting, right? So without that extra LFO movement, you'll notice it's a strange thing that happens when you just play around with the pitch of the second one. you know, I just found that at 14 there, I had these great harmonics, these really growly, aggressive harmonics just came in, and I don't worry too much about, you know, the science behind what pitch will work with what pitch. I've just like kind of done it by ear, you know. That's just how I roll, baby. And the LFO number 2 going into the first one like this. Okay, getting that movement back on, which is important. But really, let me try and simplify things again. Only a pure, you know, low octave sine wave and another sine wave that's higher up, and just modulating the level of that on an LFO essentially with a little bit of pitch movement as well, and then all of that going through a big distortion, which is the shaper. And for this one, what I've done is I've actually drawn the shape myself, and this is great because just by using 2 sine waves and then drawing in the shape of the distortion, you can really like create your own unique sound that is unique to you and feels great to you. And I'll just, you know, just drawing in like 3 or 4 points and just moving them around. You can just find what works for you and just settle on a particular shape that's going to fit great with the sine waves and what you want to go for, you know. So that's just the basic formula there. And I've done the I've put the drive also on the LFO, so we're pumping the distortion up and down to our LFO, as well as the level of the second sine wave, which is the one that's got the strange pitch on it. So yeah, higher pitched sine wave plus distortion drive. Okay, you know, the level of that higher pitched sine wave going up and down, along with the distortion going up and down, drawing in our own distortion and choosing a strange pitch. Okay, so there's a combination of those 2 things crammed together with the root note of the sub bass, you know, all through the distortion with any kind of movement that you want, but using this technique gets a funkier movement. So that's my key little golden formula. That's basically the formula. And then, you know, you can just change the pitch around, change the distortion shape around, change the speeds of the LFOs around, and then you've got loads of like, you're going to create loads of cool basses just by moving stuff around like that, you know. Okay, so that's like setting up the whole basic foundation for it. And then we can just go ahead and quickly enhance it a bit of global unison, stereoing it all. But again, I'm doing the blend from 0 to 100 on the LFO. So we're going to have like the like the part where it's kind of still mono and then opening up to stereo, and that's all happening in line with our LFO rhythm. Okay, and you can try always both ways round, 100% going to 0 or 0 going to 100. It's always going to be different every time. And you can try the different amounts of unison and obviously the different modes. I think the smooth mode is always like just works, you know. Sometimes ×4 will be great. Sometimes ×3 will be great. I usually just stick to one of those 2 and then spread it up about 25% or something. So that sounds fat. So that's the basic like crunchy, you know, all the great stuff ready to be used. But just to like make it a bit more interesting and professional, we'll post-process it a little bit here in Phase Plant, and I've just got the ensemble, which is lovely because it's like a great chorus. So a little bit of movement on that one, but it's not super necessary. Then we've got a hard clipping distortion, so just running it through a bit more saturation here. That one really helps to like get this like cohesion and glue things together in the low end. Sometimes the overdrive works better. You kind of just have to always test out the different colors on every sound, but this time the hard clipping was great for that one. And then this is a really cool thing I did as well, which is some lovely sort of high-end harmonics, a bit digitally, obviously, but not like super harsh though. And what's great about the non-linear filter that I really like is that you can actually select this flat line here, so you don't actually take out any of the you don't really sculpt out any of the content like high pass, low pass, band reject. It's just flat, but you get to just use the colors of the non-linear filter basically. And obviously they shape as you can see, it's shaping things a little bit, you know, but it's cool because you get to apply that the colors that come with the nonlinear filter without like having to take out frequencies. So that can be really great to use that flat line sometimes. And yeah, just wanted to drive it a little bit, this one, because it just gets really, really nice and crunchy in the high end. And I've just put a little bit of cutoff movement around like 500 hertz, going up to like 21%, just to sort of get those high end harmonics moving in a nice way. And then finally, we've just like adding a little bit of a room sound on by having a tiny bit of dual delay, which is great because it's it's just giving like a tiny bit of a tail, and then also the small control room, which is a great little tight convolution reverb at just 2.5% mix. So it's really small amount, but you definitely hear it, and it adds that realistic tail and room sound onto it all to make it sound a bit more finished and polished. And that's all it was, really, the Blackfire preset, which you can just download for free off my Patreon anyway. If you want to like go and get it and then like move things around, and you can probably make something completely different but use the same formula. And what was the formula again, like that I really like, is just like one sine wave low, the low kind of sub part, just kind of doing its thing. Another one on top at a higher note, but being a bit random with the selection of the notes, and just seeing what happens when you modulate the volume of it up and down. So from 0 up to wherever, 88, 100, just modulating the level up and down a bit, and then throwing all of that through the shaper and drawing in your own shape, and then putting your same movement on the drive of that shaper. And just by doing that alone, you can create like so many cool basses just by doing that. And then you've just got like a little formula to get started and create some like really cool, like growling, dark, funky neuro basses. And having two LFOs as well gives you that chance to get that more random, like joyous, funky movement that's difficult to draw in yourself sometimes. Just setting up one LFO to modulate the phase of the first one. Get things skipping around a bit more randomly, and then just playing it with the speeds and shapes and trying to find a good combination. You can just chance upon like some funky rhythms that you would not have thought about yourself. So using a bit of randomization there for the greater good. And I really like the way that sounds in the end, the Blackfire preset there. Yeah, really, really enjoy that. So yes, just wanted to share that with you guys today. A little quick tutorial. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday, a great weekend. And just as a reminder, as always, in case you guys want one-on-one lessons, one-on-one mentorship, you can book those in via my website anytime that you like, my G's. And also on my website, you can also find preset packs for Phase Plant and Vital, new sample pack as well, which these drums are in, and other things, many other sounds in that sample pack. Very, very cool sample pack, that one. And we have great new merch as well. We got some label t-shirts and things like that. And that's about it. Oh, and obviously you can always feel free to support on Patreon if you like, but come along and join as a free member anyway for now and get this preset for free. Totally happy to share this one with you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Catch up with you guys next week. Peace out. Much love.